gon' get hit, boy. I got young niggas sending hits, boy. 21, and you got Nerf toys. Keeping that glick, yeah, since first, boy.
Sparred with former world champion Jean Pascal and
get
also cruiserweight contender.
Get my motherfucking money, Jay! Get my motherfucking money, Jay!
Hey guys, my name is Corona 5G, and you already know the deal. I hope you guys are doing horrible. Hope everything that you're trying to strive at is literally failing and crumbling, like right in front of your eyes. I hope what do you like, whatever you're trying to achieve, you're just totally bombing it. I'm not in a good mood right now because basically if you're not aware, it was like this big fight, Ben Askren versus Jake Paul, and it was like a big fight on Triller Fight Club, and Jake Paul, he's a YouTuber, a YouTube boxer now. Well, not even that. He doesn't even identify as a YouTube boxer anymore. He's basically this this pro boxing Megatron of he identifies himself as one of the best boxers alive. He might didn't say that, but his ego is basically saying it for him. I mean, dude he's deplorable. He's everything that you never want to be. He's egotistical. He's a butt wipe and a penis splash. I don't really want to curse right now, but yeah, because I'm just not in a good mood. So we got him on one hand. He's almost overhyped about the wins that he had, and I'm gonna go through the ones that that he has later on in this video. And then we got the person that he's fighting on the other hand, and that's Ben Askren. Ben Askren was a very decorated MMA fighter whose primary offensive offensive prowess was basically of wrestling. So he wasn't really a striker or anything. He's 36 years old, and he had a hip replacement as well. But he agreed to fight Jake Paul, and I actually expected I expected Ben Askren to actually win. We're gonna get into what I was thinking before the fight, during the fight, because I watched it last night, my thoughts after. So let's get right into this, you mother effers, man. Oh yeah, plus I will be getting back to the reactions and stuff like that to my nigga Youngman Lolo. I say London Yellow. My nigga London Yellow, and my niggas oh yeah, sorry about that. And my niggas 100 Gex and stuff like that. So I forgot their name real quick. So I will be getting back to the reactions and stuff like that. But let's just get right to what I was thinking about the Ben Askren and Jake Paul fight. So when this fight was first announced, I think it was January or February. I think it was basically in January when the fight was first announced, Ben Askren versus Jake Paul, and I think it got pushed back a month and stuff like that. But I wasn't really excited about it because because I already knew that Ben Askren wasn't really a striker or anything. He was basically always he was known for his wrestling, his wrestling prowess. He was Olympian gold medalist. No, I don't think he was a gold medalist, but he was Olympian. And he was really top tier type wrestler, and I think he even ruled wrestling the whole wrestling world for 2 years, back then. But Heisman Trophy winner, he was a real deal top wrestler. He wasn't really known, again, he was known for striking, and so I really wasn't really I was okay. I mean, I guess I'll watch it later on, as time builds up, as the hype builds up for the fight. The reason I really wasn't, into it, that was one reason because, Ben wasn't a striker. But the other reason because, Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier, was fighting in January in that time span as well. When the Ben Askren versus Jake Paul fight was first announced, it was January. It was January or something. I know it was January. And I wasn't really excited because, Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is actually my favorite fighter. That's why I was more kind of blindsided, by that. I was more excited. That fight was more appealing, to Ben Askren versus Jake Paul. And plus, you got like other fights, other fights is going on this year as well. Like Jorge Masvidal versus Kamaru Usman. It wasn't really like it wasn't announced at that time, but still, like you had bigger fights because I'm a big UFC fan and stuff like that, and a big MMA fan. And I'm not really like into the boxing world. I mean, there's like a couple boxers like Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. It's the boxing world is very scarce nowadays. I think it's like the MMA world is more what you call it. It's more entertaining and more appealing to me because a fighter doesn't wait 5 years to make a big fight because that's what boxers basically do nowadays. And big fights always happen every year. You can always count on UFC to give you a big fight and an exciting fight card. This UFC 261 is actually coming up. 3 world titles. You got Jorge Masvidal going against Kamaru Usman for the welterweight championship. You got Zhang Weili you got what you call it? You got Zhang Weili. No, it's you got Zhang Weili defending her strawweight belt against Rose Namajunas, and then you got Valentina Shevchenko. What is her weight class? I forgot her weight class, but she's defending her belt against not Amanda. Oh yeah, Jessica Andrade. Yeah, she's defending her belt against Jessica Andrade. What? Yeah, her flyweight. She's defending her flyweight belt up against Jessica Andrade, and that's going. So this is a pretty stacked fight card, and I can't wait. And I want to get I pick Kamaru Usman to win against Jorge Masvidal, and I'll get into that later. And I pick I don't know who's gonna win for the Zhang Weili and Rose Namajunas, and I pick Valentina Shevchenko to win by devastating fashion against Jessica Andrade. So besides that, I'm sorry about that, y'all. But besides that, I went to a whole UFC type rank thing. So I wasn't really like excited about it, but like as time built on, like it gets more appealing because there's more hype, more people are talking about it. And then like I seen like fight experts and stuff like that, they were actually like ruling Jake out and stuff like that, kind of like ruling Ben in because Ben he was 19-0 before he came into the UFC back in 2018 because he retired before he came to the UFC, which was back in he came into the UFC 2019. There was like a huge dispute, years before about him, him being involved with the UFC and Dana White and his relationship and stuff like that. So basically, he was actually considered, one of the best welterweights of all time that didn't actually get inducted to the UFC before he got into the UFC because he was so dominant. He was so dominant, with his wrestling. And again, he wasn't known. Ben Askren was never known for his striking. He's basically known, to close the distance, get to you, put you on the ground, and smash you. Basically, it's like almost like a Khabib type thing, or just tire you out and probably submit you or smash you, or just win, by takedowns and stuff like that. That's what he was made. That's what he was known for. So like the obvious pick would be like Jake Paul, because Jake Paul, he's been fighting for 3 years, so that would be the obvious pick, right? But as time built on, more experts, they started analysis, like basically like making analysis, on Ben and stuff like that, and it was like pretty their analysis, they made like a lot of sense because Ben, he has been, and because he has been in he has a lot more experience, in combat sports, than Jake. It might not have like it might have not have been boxing, but he has had to survive punches. I'm sorry, I have like this little speech thing, but he has had to like survive punches for X amount of years that he has been doing combat sports. MMA, that's a very dangerous sport, and he has like fought various killers like Douglas Lima, Robbie Lawler, Jorge Masvidal 5 seconds. Yeah. But yeah, you know, Damian Maia, he has fought killers, you know, even in because he was a champion, you know, in multiple organizations, multiple MMA organizations like Bellator, one championship, and I forgot the other one. I think that was the only two that he was a championship. I think there was only two that he even fought in. So yeah, so as time built on, you know, basically like the whole fight analysis, like the whole plan, you know, for Ben was just like, you know, to tire Jake out. You know, he can withstand shots because our perception is that, like, since he can take, you know, punches, loads of punches from Robbie Lawler, he can survive, you know, a monster like Douglas Lima, then he can like take punches, you know, from a YouTube boxer, Jake Paul. Like, you know, it's nothing to him basically because he compared, like, you know, to that. He took a harder punches, you know, from monsters, you know. So that was the misconception, you know. I mean, I guess so. I mean, it was an educated misconception though. Like, it wasn't like a dumb, you know, type of perception or anything. Like that would actually make sense. So that was the plan, you know, him to withstand, you know, like the first 2 rounds of Jake, you know, because Jake is very, like, you know, hard in the first 2 rounds, at least, you know, we think. And him, you know, as the rounds go on, you know, drag him to deeper waters, smother him, and started, you know, bouncing his head off, you know, with the boxing gloves, or clattering his head. That was my, you know, analysis anyway. And that was a lot of other people's analysis. You can even, you know, watch, I mean, the Wade Concept. You can watch a whole bunch of, you know, other people, you know, fighting experts, by the way, you know, that thought the same way as me. But we knew that, you know, Jake, we knew that you know, Ben, you know, didn't have, you know, that type of striking prowess or anything. But we knew that he was an amazing wrestler. And, you know, you can like clinch and, you know, in boxing sometimes. And you thought we would smother Jake and, you know, put his weight on him and stuff like that. And, you know, and result of that, Jake would be tired basically. And yeah, so, and again, you know, we all know I don't like Jake. We all wanted him to get knocked out. And if you didn't, you were probably, you know, you're probably like in 6th grade or something like that. You didn't hit that puberty yet. Didn't get balls and you're not hair on your nostrils yet. Sorry about that, little guys. Probably didn't. You still gotta. You probably still like in the macaroni stages. But hey, look, we all hate Jake Paul. There's a distinction between, you know, him and his brother as well. Like, I like Logan Paul. I actually do like Logan Paul. It's like he has actually changed for the better. But Jake Paul, he just keeps on. It's a continuous laugh with him. I gave him so many chances, and then he plays the victim card as if, you know, he's just getting hate for nothing. But you're doing it to yourself, bro. Like, you're a total nut job. You're a douchebag. Like, you're a disgrace to humankind. You're a disgrace to the world, basically. Like, Jake, just stop. Like, this is a prime example between him and Logan. Okay, so remember the Black Lives Matter movement of last year, 2020. The Black Lives Matter movement. You seen Logan Paul? You know, he was out in the streets, you know, protesting and stuff like that for my black niggers out there. You know, he was out there protesting, but, you know, Jake being a multi-millionaire, he get this, he's a multi-millionaire, and he's looting in stores. So while Logan's out there fighting, you know, for equity, for black equity, Jake is looting in stores. So that just tells you right there. Jake doesn't, he really doesn't deserve it, but he keeps on playing the victim card as if, you know, he gets hate on for nothing. FBI raiding his house and he find AKs and other exotic guns. Like, Jake, just stop. So, you know, that was our like, you know, our perception. Ben's experience, you know, will work over, will basically beats, you know, Jake 3 years of boxing. And it was like this, I don't know, like, if Jake was like mental or anything, but he has like this misconception that he's like the greatest, you know, boxer of all time or something like that. His ego it really sickens me. It sickens me to the heart. It makes me want to pee out, you know, cum. You can't even pee out cum. You basically, you know, jack off and stuff like that. I know a whole bunch about, you know, jacking off because, you know, I'm an athlete when it comes to that. But you know, he has this little misconception that he's like, you know, the greatest boxer or something like that. At least he acts like that. And he beat, I'm gonna tell you who he beat. He beat a dippy YouTuber, okay? I remember somebody called him a retired FIFA player, an overweight FIFA player, okay? He beat a retired NBA player who he had 3 months to learn boxing, who probably didn't even spar, because the first time he got hit by Jake, it was like he was literally bamboozled, and he beat those two, and he had this whole misconception, you know, that he's the greatest boxer in the world, and then he beats, you know, Ben Askren, who I actually thought was gonna win, but as you like, you know, looking into it more, like, did Ben Askren really have a chance? Because he's not known for striking. But I'm telling you, if there was a real fight, and he said it during the press conference, Ben said it during the press conference, he said if this was in the back alleys, you know, of Los Angeles, you, like, Jake will get put on his head. That's what I'm trying to say. And then, you know, RIP, you know, to his bodyguard, you know, Shadow. But he has minions all over him, just yes men and stuff like that. And it's ridiculous, man. Anywho, so at the night of the fight, I thought, you know, Ben was doing, so when the fight started, I thought, you know, Ben, he's keeping his distance good. I think he, like, he dipped under and, like, threw, like, a good, like, you know, a little, like, tight little, like, overhand in a way. He dipped under, threw, like, a little tight little overhand. I really didn't like, how he was closing in distance, though. Like, he should have been, like, you know, almost, like, kind of like, like, opening up, like, you know, with jabs, so he can, like, open up some space so he can come in, you know, the Jake can, like, try to, like, clinch or something like that. But he was basically, like, doing this, he was doing this, and that leaves you susceptible, you know, it's like to jabs, you know, body jabs and stuff like that, when he should have been, you know, you know, just, like, kind of, like, jabbing himself in so he can kind of distract Jake with that so he can close the distance in. But, I thought Jake was kind of throwing wild, and, you know, I remember this was in, like, in the last year, his fight last year with Anees Gibb. Like, when Jake is not, like, you know, landing, it's like he almost kind of panics in a way. And I really want to see that, you know, come into play with, like, you know, a better, you know, a fighter or something like that. Because he was kind of throwing wild. Like, I remember he threw, like, an overhand. Ben, like, you know, like got out of the way of that. And I was like, that's kind of wild. Like, is he, like, what's really going on? But then, you know, he set up, so during, like, you know, the fight that Jake Paul had and Ben Askren had, he kept on, like, you know, throwing body punches just to distract Ben. It was a good game plan, I guess. And then he set up the jab, boom, boom, and knocked him down. People say it's, like, kind of controversial, but if you see it, like, you know, in an angle of where Ben is right here and Jake is right there, and Jake hits him, and the camera's right here. If you see it in that angle, you can see that it landed on his temple. People saying, like, you know, he took a dive. He probably did, but it looked like there was a legitimate knockdown. I am kind of, you know, half, like, you know, 50-50, like, about, like, how the ref handled that situation. When Ben did get up, he was wobbling, so I don't really know. But he's known for, you know, his recovery as well. Just take the Robbie Lawley fight, for example, you know. Just like Kamaru Usman said,
Robbie ran a Mack truck through his face.
That's just what happened, but he recovered in a way. That's like, you gotta take that in consideration when, you know, when Ben is fighting, because he has good recovery and he has a good chin. But he caught him on the temple, and you know, that just happens, you know. So I was just kind of confused. I was like, you know, I was just kind of bamboozled, and that bamboozlement became anger, because you already know Jake Paul is gonna, you know, his ego is gonna, you know. So, and you know, the thing about Jorge Masvidal, you know, working with, you know, Jake Paul, like, he's a sellout. He's a deplorable sellout as well. I hope, and I know that Jorge Masvidal is gonna get mauled by Kamaru Usman. Yeah, guys, I'm editing the video right now, and just to give you a little update, my prediction of what Kamaru Usman was gonna do to Jorge Masvidal was an understatement to what really happened in real life. Kamaru Usman smashed Jorge Masvidal and sent him into the shadow realm. Yeah. Look at this. Smashed him. You see the sweat flying off his face? Knocked him cold out. Oh my God, words can't express how happy I was. Words cannot express. I'm next Saturday, and I'm gonna be there to watch it. I'm gonna be there to watch it each and every second. I'm telling you, he's gonna get mauled by Kamaru Usman, because he was ducking Kobe Covington. we already know that Kobe Covington can maul, you know, Jorge Masvidal. Like, we used to watch, you know, the little friendship documentary, you know, like back in 2013. Like, they was like practicing wrestling, and Kobe was mauling him because they used to be best friends, and they used to like train together and stuff like that, aka Jam. And Kobe Covington was really putting it on, like whenever, like, you know, the wrestling drills came and they had to like wrestle each other, you know, for practice and stuff like that. Like, he was really putting it on him. So look, the thing about it is, I want Jorge Masvidal to get mauled. That's and I know Kamaru Usman is going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to maul, and mark my word, he is going to be a mauling on next Saturday. And thing about Jake is, well, let's get to Ben first. You know, good on Ben. He got his money, $1 million. He secured the bag, and he's laughing all the way to the bank. You should have saw, like, I'm gonna put the picture right here. But he's basically it's like with his wife and him, like they're smiling cheek to cheek. You know, they're not even mad at it and stuff like that. Like they're literally laughing all the way to the bank. So I mean, does it hurt his legacy? I mean, kinda in a way, you know, with the memes and stuff like that. But that really can't take away from, you know, from his many achievements, you know, and in combat sport, because he's an amazing fighter. You can say all you want, but Ben Askren is an amazing fighter, and all love to him, you know, all love to him. You know, RIP to, you know, Jake's bodyguard, you know, Shadow. I'm very unfortunate that he died, but yeah, passed away. I don't really like to see he died, but yeah, I need to see Jake Paul fight, you know, or actually real fighter. I want him to fight Nate Diaz. I would really like him to say fight Nate Diaz. That would be a very he called out Nate Diaz. He said it would be a three round KO, and Nate Diaz is known for a chin. So yeah. Or, you know, we just get Conor McGregor, you know, like, you know, to finish Jake off, get his attention, and, you know, finish Jake off. But that probably will never happen because, you know, Conor McGregor's up here and Jake is down here. But you know, yeah, that's basically all I had to say. And we already know his little tantrum is going to come. Jake is deplorable. I hope and I don't want, the thing about him, like in KSI. If KSI is going to fight him, he needs to get out of that chair right now and start training right now. You know, because Jake I don't know. I think Jake is up. I don't know. Jake's looking like a beast right now, and I need him to get slept so his little ego can perish. But you know, I need Jake to fight a real fighter. Okay? How about this, Jake? You fight me, okay? You fight me. You fight me.